Hello everyone! Today I am going to show you how I farmed 4 of the strongest gems in Diablo 4 in just 2.5 hours. Even with a conservative estimate, that works out to about 1.5 flawless gems per hour. This is not the method from last season, it is a new Diablo 4 exploit. I covered it in my previous video, but it was not clear to everyone, so I'm starting from the beginning and focusing specifically on farming gems and skulls. I do not expect this to be patched very quickly, but I am not encouraging anyone to use it. This is an exploit, and if you decide to farm unlimited gems with it, you do so entirely at your own risk. This guide is published strictly for educational and informational purposes. First, you need to open any Escalated Nightmare Dungeon. It can be anyone you want. The dungeon affixes do not matter. The only thing that matters is that it is an Escalated Nightmare Dungeon. If you do not have an escalated sigil, you can create one in the Heraldric Cube by combining 5 regular Nightmare sigils. If you do not have those either, you can craft regular Nightmare sigils at the Occultist using sigil powder. If you are wondering where to get sigil powder, simply hover over the material in your inventory. The tooltip tells you exactly where it comes from. The difficulty you open the dungeon on does not matter, although higher difficulties naturally give better rewards. As I mentioned earlier, the affixes on the sigil are also irrelevant. Once the dungeon is open, your goal is to rush through the first 2 floors as quickly as possible. Speed matters because we need a specific portal affix at the end of the 2nd floor, and we do not know in advance which one we are going to get. So ignore both the sigil affixes and the affix leading to the 2nd floor. Your only objective is to reach the end of floor 2 as quickly as possible and check the portals. To have 3 portals available after each floor, you need to unlock this War Plan node. It adds a 3rd portal after every completed floor of an Escalated Nightmare Dungeon. Sometimes none of the 3 portals will have the affix you are looking for. If that happens, simply leave the dungeon and activate another Escalated Sigil. It may take several attempts. Sometimes it takes 10 runs before the affix you need finally appears on the entrance to floor 3. The affix could be rubies, skulls, crafting materials, opals, or gold. I do not know what resource you are farming, so just keep trying until you get the affix you want. Once you get it, in my case, it was rubies. Enter the portal and clear the floor almost to the very end. Pick up all the loot and kill any treasure goblins or butchers that spawn along the way. They are simply extra rewards. Your main loot, which in my case is ruby fragments, comes from the chests. There are always 7 or 8 chests on the floor. On average, each chest contains about 250,000 fragments of the selected gem. Clear the entire floor, but do not kill the boss. If you kill the boss, the exploit is over, so leave the boss alive. Teleport to Themis and then run to another dungeon. I am not going to explain why it has to be this particular one. Just use the same dungeon I do. If you go to the nearest dungeon inside the city limits, the bug will not work because you won't actually leave the city, and your town portal will not disappear. So go specifically to this dungeon that I am heading to. Enter it, but do not go any farther. Open your world map and locate your unfinished Escalated Nightmare Dungeon. Click on it to teleport back. When you load in, you will appear at the beginning of floor 3. However, the map will be unexplored again, indicating that the dungeon has reset. All of the dungeon modifiers, including its bonuses and penalties, remain exactly the same, allowing you to clear the floor again. Once you finish the floor, without killing the boss, repeat the entire process. Teleport back to Themis, run to the dungeon, step inside, open the world map, switch to Sanctuary, click on your unfinished Escalated Nightmare Dungeon. Repeat this loop for as long as you want. Why the 3rd floor? Because the 3rd floor triples any loot compared to the 1st floor. Here is what the numbers look like. You can complete about 20 runs per hour. Each dungeon has 7 or 8 chests, so I will use an average of 7.5. Every chest contains between 220 and 280,000 gem fragments, so I will use 250,000 as the average. That gives us 20 runs per hour. I am calculating each run as 3 minutes, even though an actual run, including all loading screens, takes about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So the math is simple. 20 runs times 7.5 chests times 250,000 fragments equals 37,500,000 fragments per hour. A flawless gem requires 25 million fragments. That means you can farm roughly 1.5 of the strongest gems in the game every hour. At the same time, you are also farming almost every important resource in the game, along with gold and seasonal reputation. That is everything you need to know about this gem and skull farming method in Diablo 4 Season 14. I hope I did not miss anything. If you found the video helpful, leave a like. If you did not, leave one anyway. Either way, let me know what you think in the comments. I would also appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.